SpaceX's Starship recently completed its third integrated test flight and made incredible progress toward its goal of becoming the world's first interplanetary crew transport. While the test itself showcased the Starship's developmental progress compared to the last two attempts, the question on everyone's mind now is the state of the launch pad after the latest test. So, did SpaceX's launch pad survive Starship's third test flight, or did it sustain serious damage like the first test? Let's find out. The much-awaited third flight of SpaceX's Starship occurred on March 14th, unfolding with a series of unexpected twists. Initially, the mission kicked off smoothly, with both the Starship and its Super Heavy booster launching as planned. However, as the mission unfolded, intermittent loss and recovery of signals from both spacecraft occurred, causing a degree of confusion and apprehension among observers. As the mission progressed, the signal loss became more prolonged, leading to uncertainty surrounding the fate of the mission. For a period, no updates were available, leaving spectators in suspense regarding the status of the spacecraft and the overall outcome of the flight. On the morning of the launch, initial concerns arose due to high wind speeds, which posed a potential threat to the scheduled liftoff. There was a possibility of delaying the mission until the backup date of March 18th. However, as the day progressed, weather conditions improved significantly, paving the way for the launch sequence to proceed as originally planned. In the hours leading up to the scheduled liftoff, the fueling process commenced, marking a crucial pre-launch phase. Approaching the T-60-minute mark, final weather checks were conducted, and with favorable conditions confirmed, the launch director authorized the initiation of the propellant loading process. By T-45 minutes, both the Starship and its Super Heavy booster began receiving liquid methane and liquid oxygen fuel. Once the fuel loading was completed, the launch proceeded with the ignition of the Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines. These engines, consuming an impressive 40,000 pounds of liquid oxygen and methane per second, generated the thrust required for liftoff. The launch process generated a notable amount of dust and steam, largely attributed to the activation of the water suppression system at the launch pad. A remarkable feature of this launch was the effectiveness of the water deluge system, which was activated just before the engines ignited, releasing a significant amount of water over the launch pad. Primarily, the water serves as a thermal buffer, absorbing the intense heat produced by the engines. This function is crucial because the temperatures at the point of ignition can reach levels that pose a risk of damaging not only the surface of the launch pad, but also the structural integrity of nearby facilities. By cooling the environment, the water deluge system prevents the concrete and metal structures of the pad from overheating due to thermal stress. Furthermore, the deluge system plays an essential role in suppressing sound. The thunderous noise emitted by a rocket engine, particularly one as powerful as the Super Heavy's 33 Raptors, can generate sound levels capable of causing physical harm to the launch pad and its surroundings. The shockwave of sound energy poses the risk of fracturing concrete, shattering windows, and disrupting electronics. The water released by the deluge system serves to capture and absorb a portion of this acoustic energy, resulting in a reduction of the overall sound intensity. Functioning as a physical barrier, the water impedes the spread of sound waves and diminishes the energy they convey. This not only safeguards the structural integrity of the launch pad, but also mitigates the impact on the natural ecosystem and nearby wildlife, which can be susceptible to the extreme noise levels produced during a launch. The effectiveness of the water deluge system was evident in the aftermath footage of the launch pad. Surprisingly, the area surrounding the launch pad showed no visible damage, indicating a significant improvement from previous launches. In earlier attempts, launches had inflicted considerable damage to the launch infrastructure, including creating craters under the launch mount and damaging the surrounding area. The force of previous launches had even propelled dust and concrete debris miles away from the site, resulting in broken windows in nearby residences. During this launch, a critical procedure known as hot staging was executed 2 minutes and 42 seconds after liftoff. Hot staging is a clever technique where the engines of the next stage ignite before the current stage has been completely discarded. This ensures continuous thrust and minimizes the time and momentum lost between the separation of stages. In this specific launch, the process involved shutting down the engines of the Super Heavy booster and then igniting the Starship upper stage's 6 engines while both stages were still connected. The concept of hot staging, while promising, also comes with significant risks, as demonstrated during the second Starship flight. In that instance, the booster exploded shortly after stage separation. Analysis suggested that the slow separation process might have contributed to the explosion, potentially allowing the ignited engines of the ascending stage to damage the booster. In response to this previous failure, SpaceX made adjustments aimed at improving the timing and execution of the hot staging process for this launch. These modifications proved successful, avoiding the complications seen in the second flight. The engines of the Super Heavy booster were correctly shut down, and the Starship upper stage's engines ignited as planned. Following the stage separation, the Super Heavy booster initiated maneuvers to prepare for re-entry, while the Starship upper stage continued on its trajectory toward orbit. However, the booster stage's return journey encountered challenges in maintaining stability. These difficulties prevented it from executing a controlled re-entry as planned. Rather than performing the intended landing burn, the booster encountered difficulties stabilizing sufficiently to initiate this maneuver. As a result, it crashed into the Gulf of Mexico, resulting in a hard splashdown. This outcome was a significant deviation from SpaceX's goal of achieving a reusable booster system capable of precise and safe landings. Meanwhile, the Starship's journey to space seemed to proceed without significant issues. After its engines shut down, the spacecraft provided stunning views of Earth from space, while conducting a series of tests in preparation for re-entry. During the descent phase, the vehicle showcased its re-entry capabilities by enduring temperatures exceeding 2,500 degrees. However, telemetry was lost at an altitude of about 40 miles, indicating that the Starship disintegrated before completing its planned descent. Despite this setback, SpaceX celebrated this as a major accomplishment, emphasizing the importance of reaching space and surviving the initial phase of re-entry. Although both stages were destroyed, the test provided valuable data for future development. However, the FAA categorized the event as a mishap and announced its oversight of the investigation. This decision adds to the frustration SpaceX has experienced with regulatory delays impacting the timing and planning of their first and second Starship flights. Despite these challenges, SpaceX views achieving 80% of the mission objectives as a significant success. What do you think? Can SpaceX turn that 80% into a 100% success in the next test? Share your thoughts in the comments below.